Hello, good evening. Welcome to Red Tara Practice and Contemplation. Hope everybody's doing well. We are currently contemplating the Book of Heart, written by Lama Shenpen, based on Chagdud Rinpoche's teachings. So tonight we begin chapter 10, The Roots of Happiness and Suffering. Wherever we live, whatever our color, culture, or religion, we all want to avoid suffering and find a stable source of contentment and fulfillment. Among the various realms of experience, the human realm offers the greatest opportunity for accomplishing this. As human beings, we are capable of bringing about change using our minds. Unlike animals, we have the ability to understand complex concepts. We can contemplate what we have heard or read and validate or refute it. We can act on our beliefs, not with blind faith, but through extensive examination and analysis. Because of this, the human body and mind together constitute a unique and precious vehicle that can potentially take us completely beyond suffering in this very lifetime. So why are we unable to avoid suffering or stabilize fleeting moments of happiness? The underlying problem is that we don't know what to abandon and what to accept in our quest for enduring happiness. Our self-oriented motivation leads us to act in ways that only produce more suffering and further obscure the true sources of contentment. We tend to focus on what we don't have, creating a catalog of wants, and obsess over surmountable difficulties. This dissatisfaction blinds us to our inherent qualities, which we can otherwise use to benefit ourselves and others. It's as if in trying to improve our health, we continue to drink poison, get sick and die, come back to life the next day, repeat the same dose of poison, get sick and die, repeating the process again and again. In fact, this is the predicament of all beings. Happiness and sadness arise in quick succession. Although we think that they result from outer objects and circumstances, it is actually the mind's reactions that give rise to our experience. For example, some people love chili pepper. They feel that food is not complete and not worth eating without it. Others hate chili pepper. They feel that food spiced with it has been ruined. Though the substance is the same, people's mind react to it in different ways. And so it is with everything. Each person has her own experience of outer circumstances and empowers this view with judgments and opinions. One might consider a certain individual a perfect friend, reliable in any situation. But another person might find the same individual completely untrustworthy. Again, it is their minds that regard the person in different ways. The ordinary mind assumes that everything perceived by the five senses is real, when ultimately none of it is. From this mistake arises the interplay of separation and differentiation. And from that, hope, fear, attachment, aversion, pride, jealousy, and ignorance. If we let the mind rest for a moment in a state of natural, uncontrived openness, all these emotions fall away. But then something comes to our attention. A curtain blows in the wind. We hear a car or see someone walking by. The mind immediately focuses on that stimulus as something outside of and other than the mind. Making this distinction between self and other establishes the false perception we call duality. When we look at whatever has caught our attention and take note of the details, its color, shape, and size, then we judge, evaluate, and further conceptualize. Then, on the basis of this assessment, we decide whether we like it or not. From our initial perception, these steps lead to full-blown attachment or aversion. There is a school in Buddhism called the Chittamani school. Chittamani means mind only. And in the Chittamani school tradition, part of their view or philosophy is that everything is mind. For example, in the dream of the night, there's a world, there's a sky, there's people, there's cars, etc., sounds, temperatures. But we know that all that is occurring in the dream of the night when we wake up was simply mind. So in Buddhism, we're taught that this experience here is exactly the same. And every night when we go to bed, we wake up from this experience of the mind and go into a different experience of the mind. Not when we wake up, when we go to bed. And then when we wake up back into this experience of the mind, and we leave that experience of the mind of the night. And the same thing at the moment of death. We wake up from this experience of the mind, and then our mind continues to create new experiences based on its tendencies. So now in physics, I don't know if they've proven it mathematically, or if it's a theory or a paradigm that's currently popular, but it's called biocentrism. And basically in physics, biocentrism means everything is mind. And through theories and equations and high-level mathematics, they've been able to prove that in fact, this is all mind. So I'm always amazed with Buddha and the great teachers like Longchenpa, Guru Rinpoche, Tsongkhapa, to think that 2,600 years ago, through meditation, they were penetrating into deep levels of physics and mathematics. Also, at the beginning of the chapter, Rinpoche talks about how everybody craves stability. And one thing that we need to know is that in this world, in this dream world that our mind has created, there's not an ounce of stability, not an atom of stability. And when it seems like there's stability, it's just a temporary trick of the mind. But it is possible to create stability of the mind. We all crave the same thing, stability. But we all look for it in the wrong place. There's a famous saying, famous story of a family of Tibetans. In Tibet, they keep their livestock on the first floor of their house and they sleep on the second floor. So one night, the family wakes up and finds that their cattle, their yak, have wandered off. So they go out into the night searching for their cattle. And finally, when they can't find it, they give up and they come home and they find that in fact, their cattle were always underneath the house and had never left. So in the same way, we have this potential within ourselves that we've always had and we will always have, but we're not looking for it in the right place.